Dari, I hope you can hear this. It is March the 2nd, 2024, and you're here with me in the study. I've got a princess with me. Can I show you the princess? She is here. I'm afraid she's done a bit of licking, but I don't. Have you been helping? No. But you are being good because you're sitting on top of the test computer. You're keeping it very nice and safe, aren't you? Okay, so we're here. This is I'm going to try and make this not a kind of like a moany ranty thing, but it's a sad occasion on multiple. No. It's a sad occasion on multiple levels. I'm actually here reformatting disk D04 in my catalogue. Now, disk D04 is a disk I've owned since about 1984. So that'll make it, what, 40 years old. Still working. It's just down here. It's an MFM disk. It's an IBM 40 megabyte disk. Now, I've had this since approximately 1984, and it had been my tried and trusted companion whilst I was doing electrical and mechanical engineering at college. So originally when I had my Cromemco system, it was running on floppies, but after some extra while, I managed to save up for the hard disk controller, the STDC disk controller, and I connected it to one or more IBM hard drives. Now, I bought these drives. There's a story about many things. First, it's a story about the fact that I'm having to play this kind of rather innocuous music. I found a royalty-free musical station, 24/7 London radio, and they can't play any of the music, otherwise it'll be copyrighted. In eBay will just, take me to the cleaners. So meanwhile, back to the plot, which is that the STDC disk controller was expensive in itself, but connecting the hard drives to it, well, the hard drives were just unimaginably expensive. So I think each drive, eventually I had two 44 megabyte drives, and each drive cost over £500, I believe, from memory. I mean, the controller was some horrendous cost as well. I think the controller was about £400 or £500 just for the controller card. So this was a lot of money in 1984. Anyway, we're here with disk D04. It's been sold on eBay to Katarina from Germany, and it's still got all my my coursework, my electrical engineering circuit simulators, all that sort of thing. We can see that if we do a disk info. We're doing a disk info STD31. Now I've got a test rack set up such that the test system is here, and out of the test system I've got some cables, and I'm powering the D04 drive, and you can see that this is a 733 cylinder drive. It's got 7 heads. Well, it's really got 8. I think 7 working data heads, and the 8th is a tracking head. So you can't use that 8th surface. It's got 4 platters, which I think translates into 7 heads. Oh, I've got this head torch on. I must take that off. So the head torch is because I can't see what I'm doing, and I'm looking into the computer to try and set it up. Now the test computer, the CS250, and there's another video for that, has been set up, but really to test cards inside the machine. I've been trying to get it to test the hard drive outside the machine. No matter what I've done, I've tried to connect the cables out of the MFM emulator into the disk drive, but for some reason I've not got the cables right. So I've had to resort to taking the front panel off and taking the cables from the STDC controller, and then of course everything works straight away. So just so I can remember, the drive has to be set to DS1. So the hard drive is set to drive select 1. Got the data cable and of course the control cable connected. They would normally be keyed, but because we didn't have that technology when we were making cables in 1984, at least I didn't buy the expensive Cromemco cables because they would cost a fortune. Because of that, I've had to put some sticky labels on them to indicate the cut. Because the cables are reversible, if you put them on the wrong way around, all the grounds would be connecting to all the signals, so that would be kind of very bad. Anyway, we're here. We've got the drive. As you can see, these are all the partitions that I used, 40 years ago. I'm not gonna go into. I'm just gonna format the disk. So it's init hard. Running from floppy. By the way, I booted the whole of the operating system from floppy drive. It's a 68,020 system running from a single floppy drive, which is going some. So I'm going to give it STD31. Ooh, 31. I've got a cat in front of me on the keyboard. No. Baby, go here. Yeah, go here. Good girl. Good girl. Don't go on the computer. On the disk drive. Okay, so she's thinking about it. She's thinking, come on, sit down now. Sit down. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. I'll be over soon and we'll get you some dinner. Okay, so where are we? We're back. We're doing STD31. Now, it knows the geometry of the disk because on the front of the disk it's written a header on track 0 where it stores this information. So it knows it's got 7 surfaces. I shouldn't have to change any of this. I'm just going to reformat. I am going to give it some alternate tracks. Now the person who's buying it didn't tell me they can use it from a Cromemco system. Very unlikely. So if they had, they'd probably be on the Cromemco forum and they'd probably be notifying me that they wanted it to be loaded up with some software, but they didn't do that. So I'm going to format it for Cromemco purposes anyway. Starting of disk is 0.
You are listening to 24/7 London Radio.
Very good. Pre-comp doesn't really matter. We'll give it 733. I do want to initialize tracks. Do you know, I'll put that on, it makes it worse. Right, so yes we do. We're going to start it there. We're going to go right to the end. I'm giving it 21 alternate tracks. This lab will take a long time. I'm going to have to fast wind this, aren't I? Otherwise you'll all go mad. What else is there to say? Well, selling stuff on eBay, as you know, is a difficult process. It's not going to make me rich. My motivations for selling Disk D04. Let's pause that for a second, shall we? So my motivations for selling Disk D04 are I don't use it anymore. Someone else could use it, and I could do with the money. That's some of the motivations. Now, eBay sales. You can sell stuff in your home country, or you can use something called the GSP, Global Selling Program. And that program allows somebody from another country to buy your stuff, but I just post to the UK. So what happens is, when you select GSP on the eBay, I just post to the UK as normal. It arrives at an eBay destination, and they, I've learned that they don't actually package it, because I've had one that's been damaged, and the recipient sent me pictures of the package, so it was just my package. So they don't repackage it. They don't put it in another package, which would have been helpful. And what they do is that they charge you, the buyer, import duties and postal costs straight away. So I don't see the import duties or postal costs. It's difficult for me to see that, but they're normally enormous. So to quote absolute specifics, because I have been able to find out on this transaction, this disc sold for a tiny, in my opinion, £115. Again, that's a 40-year-old working IBM 44 megabyte drive, which I have owned since new. Kept it very carefully all of those years. And the postal costs to the UK were £8, and I'm paying actually £8.50, so I've lost 50p on the postage. They've charged the buyer, I think it was something like £20 for shipping, and they charged them £25 for import duties, because of course we're not in the European community anymore. Had we been in the European community, they would pay £0, but we're not in the EC anymore. So the buyers paid £45 to eBay £8 to me for postage and £115. Now I don't get the £115. I get something like £115 less. Well, could be at least 10%. So I probably get about £100. So the total cost to the buyer is 115 plus, let's say, 50. Yeah, I think it was £170 almost they paid. So £170 drive, and I'm getting £100. And eBay is making a good deal, I think, on the shipping costs. And let's, I don't know what they, let's suppose they pay let's suppose the import duty is as is. Okay, so we're at cylinder 253. Now the Western Digital, as far as I understand it, had the ability to format a track and actually zero it as it was doing that. In other words, it would rewrite the actual track header, the data field within the track header, after the track header, and then the CRC at the end of it, and it could actually write zeros through. So I would hope that this whole drive has actually been zeroed. I don't know that for sure. So the init flop is to initialize a flop into Cromemco. The init hard is to initialize a hard drive. Now, when you create partitions, the partitions would start with std0 for partition 0, std1, and so forth. But you can refer to the whole hard drive as std31. That's for the first hard drive. And for the second, I think it's std63. So this whole drive is known as std31. And I would scroll, oh, you can see that here. So you can see I referred to it as std31. Yeah. So up to 347. Should we bring the cat into play because she's pretty to look at than I am. I think we're going to have to fast wind now. Okay, Dari, just to explain why I look like I'm in my pyjamas, it's because I've been on a long trail run today, and in England it's March 2024, and the conditions are pretty muddy, and shitty, and I'm pretty exhausted actually. It was a couple of hours of trail running this morning, and I was right at the back of our foursome. Oh, I never thought I'd have that day. Anyway. So maybe my pyjamas waited to go to sleep, but it's another thing actually. So this eBay sale, it's going to net me about 100 GBP. I've waited over a year for the sale, and I'd say I've got to put in about at least 2 hours of effort to test the drive and then package it up, and then of course I've got to get it from here to the post office. So that's about another half hour. So yeah, eBay, it's not for the faint-hearted. If there was a way of making it more profitable, I'd be eager to hear. Anyway, moan aside, let's go back here. So we want to change partition. Yes, we do. We're going to make it one partition. Yes, we're going to make the first. No, I gave it 21 tracks. No, I gave it 21 surfaces. Aha, different. I gave it 21 surfaces of alternate track table, which is 3 tracks, and that's why I can have a single partition, which is 733 minus 3, which is 730. Okay, so that's all sensible. Now we spotted that. Okay, so it is going to be 730. Alternate track. We say we start at. So it wants to put the alternate track table at 700. Remind me, why is that? So in my mind, I've got from 0 to 729, and I should have it at 729. Where I want to put it. It's just saying put it in the middle, but I want to put it at the end. Now I don't know if any of the tracks are bad at the moment, so we're going to say no. We don't know anything about that. So then we have to do. Now this is where I couldn't know the command. I think it's read all. It's a read all command. I think it's going to be something like read all to read the whole drive. There's A, STD31. Before we do that, let's do disk info of STD31. Now you'll see that the partition table has changed. You see there's a single partition of 51 meg. Now, because the way that Cromemco formats its drives, you get more space on it than you might imagine. So the official capacity of this drive is 44 meg, but we can squeeze 51 meg out of it. Anyway, so let's do read all minus A of STD31. Again, this is going to be one of those commands that's going to take a while, so there's a seriously large chance I'm going to fast forward. It's going like a rocket. It's going absolutely. So, the read all command will read every byte of every sector of the whole hard drive. If there are any errors, it's going to show them up. And there were errors, some minor errors on the surface, and I'm going to add those to the. So I've got a catalogue file, and I'm going to search for D04. I mean, I know I'm selling the drive, but just be super professional about it. I'm going to make a record of the So let me show you here. This is the text file, which again this is available to Cromemco users, and we've got the actual old partition that I've just overwritten, and I'm gonna put the defects down here just to. I mean, these should be the same as which Katharina will receive. She receives the disk. Do you know what? It's passed error-free. Unbelievable. Now, before, I thought D04 had a few errors in it. This has passed completely clean. So the lady who's bought this bought 2 drives, and the second drive was error-free. This drive, I thought had at least 1 or 2 defects, but no. Now there's a table that's printed onto the top of the drive, which is from the manufacturer IBM in the 1980s, and it will show the defect table according to it. But according to this, if you're using it on a Cromemco system, we found no errors whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. That is just the best. Okay, well, I can't do better than that. I'm going to shut it down, package it up very carefully, and send it over to Germany. And I found out another thing, which is that with the eBay GSP program, you can't combine items. You have to send each item separately. So that is what we will do. All right, diary, thank you very much for listening and watching. And it's goodbye from me. And it's goodbye from my princess. Hey? Princess. Right.